Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Bormann goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Bormann and Warner, but Bormann's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Takes the lead on the final lap of the race.
Very excited for the action, of course, out on track here tonight in Austria. One of the rarities I think we've had throughout the PSGL calendar is having so many races around here in Austria. The likes of Matthew Walder have won around here, Wilson Hughes, Duncan Hoffland, and last season, of course, Kai Kinch, otherwise known as Kazizel. He won, of course, last season. Who was going to top the lot in season 36? Tune in and find out.
Yes, welcome to those of you that have just joined us on YouTube and Twitch. The hills are definitely alive at Spielberg tonight as the drivers are about to get underway for the racing. You had us on mute there for a little bit. We do apologise about that, but it looks like it's all sorted. That's why you should check before you go on stream. Last week, Jade, we were at Monaco. We thought we were going to get a lot of penalties. Turns out we only got 2 stewards reports, and both of them with no further action.
Yeah, both of them no further action indeed. Flopman and Cameron Dowd's lap 34, turn 1. Racing incident, while Cameron Dowd's could have carried slightly less speed into turn 1 in order to leave more room on the outside. Flopman took a significant risk. Cameron Dowd's got a warning for failing to cooperate with the stewards, ignoring their request. And Zolzum and Ian Van Noonen on lap 30. We saw that very aggressive fight between them both on stream. Zolza went for an overly ambitious move, carrying significant speed into the corner, meaning they had to turn in early to stay within track limits. And in doing so, they initiated a collision with Ian Van Noonen, which he couldn't avoid in the end. And as a result, Zolza was pushed beyond track limits. The warning was deemed as self-inflicted, hence the decision. And that, in turn, Jess, means Mateo still leads the championship. Giel in second, Ren's there currently in third, if my driver's standings are right, which I've just noticed they're not.
So here are your drivers' standings, as you can see. So we've got Mateo that's currently leading Ren's in second. We've got Flopman in third. We've got Cameron Dowd in fourth. It would help if we get the right standings next time. But luckily we got it live on our screen. Gil is in fifth spot. Yossi in sixth. Ian Van Urban in seventh. Walla Kongan in eighth. Keke in ninth. And Ryan rounds up your top 10. Then we've got Zorzo. Baki is reserving tonight. Apex back racing tonight, which is great to see. And we got Gustav on 3 points, so it's Justin. Noof's on 1 point. And we got 2 full-time drivers yet to score. That's Stefano and Jerome. F7R Stefano, that is. And we got 2 reserves that are yet to score either. But at least for them, Monaco's out of the way. We head to a track where you could see a lot of overtakes. It's named a lot of names. The Austria ring, the A1 ring. I know a lot as the A1 ring, to be fair, because the first time I ever saw Austria was back when I was a little one. Down there. And yeah, it was back in 1970, the first ever Austrian Grand Prix as well. And it holds MotoGP there as well. So that is why turn 2 is a kink. Because some people think turn 2 is the Heavy Bakers into turn 3. No, it's not. Turn 2 is the kink in the MotoGP chicane, which is confusing. But we have 2 reserves tonight. We got Baki and Cameron Dow's filling in tonight. Cameron Dow's finished second last week. We're not going to put too much pressure on him because when we do, he usually bottles it. So we're not going to say too much. But what are you going to say about Austria, James?
Honestly, Austria is one of those tracks where it's a bit like Nutella. Drivers love it, drivers hate it. I personally absolutely love it from a commentator's perspective. It is one of those tracks where everyone comes alive. I think the racing normally is aggressive, but normally it's pretty much on the limit, and normally it's pretty fair. So hopefully we get that level of racing here tonight. Of course, as you mentioned, my first race actually around here in F1, certainly watching in real life, was 2004. And we all know what happened at the end of that race in 2004 between Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. But
Team
we
orders.
say that about the better the drop. Yeah, team orders at the end of the day. We do not want to see that out on track. It looks like everyone is coming out the pit lane very early on, which means we're going to get a dry session here tonight in PSF1. I think the first man out on track, if I'm not mistaken, as I flick on, there's quite a few in the first sector. They really want to get on with it, though. It's a bit like a car park at the minute.
It is Jeroen, I believe, that's going to be the first driver out on circuit in the Aston Martin, followed by one of the McLarens. Some interesting stats for PSGL as well. This is the first time that we're going back to PSGL history where all three that finished in the top three were here last season. So Cazidal took the victory, Erpek in second, Jeroen in third. Season 34, we had Louis Valentin take victory from Sammy Chemsey in second and Tom in third. Tom Roberts in season 33 took victory from Marcos in second and Max in third. Tom actually won 1 year in season 34, but his victory got taken away from him due to a penalty. Philip Valters won in season 31. Matthew Alder won in season 30. Season 29 belonged to Duncan Hoffland. Season 28, Jordan Poland won that one. Season 26, Danny Moreno. Season 25, Wilson Hughes. Season 24, the Power Goat Louis Welch. And Matthew Alder won again, in season 32. I thought it was going to be the Aston Martin that's going to be out first, but Matteo, James seems like he wants to be getting on with it.
He does want to get on with it, definitely. He's one of the strongest drivers, actually, around this track on the grid tonight. So we'll see what Matteo can do. In towards the right-hander, at turn number 1 at the Niki Lauda curve, running now up the hill in towards the mountainous region at turn number 3, and that is, of course, Remus corner at the end of this first sector split, and it's a 15.9 in this first sector for Matteo. Not looking too bad at all. Did you know, by the way, Austria has filled up with 67% mountainous range, all thanks to the Swiss and German Alps. It now comes down the hill in towards turn number 4, on the pretty much cascading on the side of the mountain, in towards Schlossgall now at turn number 4. Matteo looking very, very good as he now comes in towards the left-hander now of turn number 6 at the Pirelli curve, what I like to call the Pirelli curve, and then in toward the Wirth curve at turn 7 and 8, and a 44.3 in the middle sector. Just actually touching a little bit of dirt there on the right-hand side, a little bit of gravel being picked up on the rear right tyre, but not looking too bad. Matteo now coming up the hill and towards the Jochen Ring curve at turn number 9, and then Red Bull Mobile curve at turn number 10. Luckily he hasn't got any traffic. He's got a little bit of a fake toe from the Sauber ahead of him. Matteo to the line, 103.4. We will see drivers at least in the 103 flats as the session goes on.
Yes, some good lap times already on the board as Cameron Dow's already setting the time that we were expecting already with a 103.2. Now, pole time in PSGL last season with a 103.0, I believe. So we could get the 102s, and we already just reached that already with Rennes with a 103.068. So times are coming in thick and fast. It was very close in PSF2, but it was very, very overcast. So the drivers found it a bit more trickier compared to normal. Here's our reserve driver of Backy as he heads towards turn number 7. Now, very tight elevation as well. You've got to make sure that you perform the car right on traction. So, sometimes it's easier with no traction because there's so many heavy traction zones. As Backy goes up to the line now to complete his lap, what can he do as he goes up to the line? He goes 16th. Their times are coming in. They're just so quick already. Sibola goes up to the line as well. He has unfortunately invalidated. Tim hasn't had a representative lap time. So your order so far, Red's out there on top. Yossi in second. Flopman, last week's race winner, in third. Stefano in fourth. Cameron Dow's in fifth. Gustav in sixth. And Ryan seventh. Jeroen eighth. Ian in ninth. And Walla Congan. My pick for pole position rounds up your top 10.
Yeah, my pick for pole position, I don't really want to express where he is right now. He's way down the field. But Ren's up on top, Yossi in second, Flopman there in third. Liam saying in the chat, Ren's is a quality merchant. I completely agree with that. Yossi there in second, Flopman in third. Flopman, remember, of course, won in Monaco last week. Not drivers that you want to have on your side, right behind you, I've got to say, from Ren's perspective. But Ren's out on top, a good 10th of a second. And this track really is close in terms of qualifying. So Ren's, that's 10th of a second that he's got, 95 hundredths if we're being on it in terms of the maths of everything. But Ren's out on top, Yossi second, Flopman there in third. Ren's out on top, a 10th of a second clear. That is a big margin actually to have around this track. We normally see drivers improving about 2 or 3 tenths going on to their middle runs, so their potential middle runs. But we could see, Jess, as there, Matteo, I think, is coming out first along with your own. They want to try and get what is very rare actually in F1 on this game, 4 runs actually in qualifying, and that's what I think they're going to have to be using up very soon indeed, as they are now filtering through out onto track for their second runs.
Yes, and I think the only time that you can go and do 4 runs in qualifying is potentially the softer tyre compound, and when you're choosing the game, that the drivers get 3 options: balance, softer, and harder. And I'm almost certain that the strategy that is going to be on offer today will be hards to mediums, but some people may go and opt for the soft tyre. The softs can last about 10 or 11 laps here in new condition, as I found out properly when I was racing there. So potentially that is what the drivers could be faced today. We could see 3 or 4 different strategies out there on track today. That is why it's going to be wide open here as well. It'll be good to get your predictions here at the moment, and some predictions that we could get 292.8 from Ren's there as well. So that could be probably the fastest we've ever seen ever. But don't forget that the game has had so many patches in its time since the game. Obviously, we raced here season 34 and season 35. So we've raced in every season in this game cycle, and the game just evolves every season. So we're going to watch people going on their laps now. Some people will probably need to find some time to improve, which is probably minuscule. Drivers have been told to keep an eye on 9 and 10 track limits. If they extend that too much, they will be getting penalties. Pit lane, they're not monitoring that much in terms of exit, but pit entry, they got to be careful. But let's hope we don't get those incidents reported as well. But Matteo, who's our championship leader, makes his way past turn number 2. You could just about see the MotoGP chicane there as well.
Yeah, not a bad first sector, actually. 15.9 in the first sector. Cameron Dowd is coming through that part, and he's actually 4 thousandths up on Matteo through that first sector. So Matteo not looking too bad. Cameron Dowd not looking too bad either. 15.961. There's the illegal blocking penalty. Nuth is the one that picks up the illegal blocking penalty for tonight, so we will get that mandatory restart, of course. But Matteo now coming into the left-hander of turn number 6. Bit off the curb, actually, coming through turn number 6. He runs wide slightly, but a 44.2. We ran on the gravel, just coming through there on his first run. Comes now through the Verth curve at turn number 8 and then toward the up and ring curve at turn number 9. This is looking like a very strong lap, I've got to say, from the Italian. Now coming through the right-hander of turns number 9 and 10. Through the final corner of Red Bull Mobile curve on the run to line with Matteo. Shook around the 103 flats. 103.1 in the air. Not a bad run at all from him. Cameron Dowd's now on the run to the line. He goes second. He goes quicker than him. 103.137. And all of that time, Jess, was made up in that middle sector. 300th of a second Cameron Dowd had over Matteo. Maintained that on the run to the line. Volakongan there going 5th. Ren's improving, but he's not. He's just invalid. Coming out of the final corner on the run to the line. He would have been 800ths down on that run. So people in the comment section putting him under unnecessary pressure, I've got to say. My pick, by the way, now Urpek, that's more like it from him in P6. I'm feeling a little bit more confident now.
That's why you're giving that confidence now. So you didn't really say the name until he went up there as well. So no pressure there as well. And it's exactly what we saw in real life as well. If you're going to F1 for the first time, or if you're going into a new tier for the first time, all that pressure is put on you. You're going to be judged a lot as well. And even the pressure that the commentators put on you, it's going to be hard. And sometimes we feel it as racers ourselves, because we both league race on a weekly basis, and we know that the commentators there can sometimes curse us. Not all the time. They haven't cursed me a lot recently, but knowing me, they'll probably curse me in future league races. But we got Rend out there on top. So also in second. A few more people to finish their lap times then. We've got Justin, who's about to go into the pit. I believe, yep, he is going into the pit. So that is most people done on that one. Flopman, just a few 100s quicker than his previous best. Some 100s quicker than his previous best. Takes turn 3 quite nicely, going down the hill into Schlossgold in turn number 4, of course. He wants to pick another win. Could he be the first driver to pick up 2 race wins in a row? We've had 3 different race winners so far. Has he backed off a bit?
I'm having a look in the pit lane. Sorry to cut you off, Jess. I'm having a look in the pit lane. Renz was getting... I can only describe what was like a fake car ahead of him. He was going about 2 miles an hour down the pit lane there.
Oh, I
That was
missed
very
that.
strange. There was an Aston Martin behind him who just came in the pit lane. I think it might have been Justin who was the man. But Renz was going so slow. It's almost as if there was a bit of physics in front of him. There was a car in front of him. Flopman, by the way, goes second. Not a bad lap there at all, 103.1. So not a bad lap there at all from the man who, of course, went on to win the race last week in Monaco. But that was just really strange. You see things... I've been doing this, 10 years on and off in terms of commentary. It's the first time I've ever seen somebody get held up in the pit lane by a fake car. Really strange.
That is probably the strangest thing that probably James has ever seen, and I never get to see it. So I hope you clip that, and you can show it to me after the stream, yeah? Anyway, Jeroen goes out there into 15th place. He's about to finish his runs. And as you can see, most people are going out again. I think I remember in Austria last season, it was raining, I think. So we didn't get much action in qualifying. This time we get more action than ever. And it is chance for... People get so many attempts, basically. And sometimes it may come to bite you. Sometimes you can literally redeem yourself right now as well. As Jeroen heads through turn number 4 once again as well. Through 4th gear on exit, now through 5th, through 5. 6th, 7th gear. Oh, he got blocked. He got blocked on the exit of turn 6, which is not ideal. Flips a car into turn 7, 5th on exit. And you're going to go into 6th gear through turn number 8 as you go down the hill, past the bridge, past the pit lane. Yeah, he's backed off. So I wonder if he's going to report that to the stewards or if he wasn't on a lap anyway. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, and that was my man for pole position as well. I swear I've put a curse on him here tonight. Erpek there blocking the car of Jeroen coming into the fight, and Jeroen will be absolutely livid with that. Let me tell you that. Cameron Dowds, by the way, is on a run right now. He's through the first sector, and he's purple out of everyone through the first sector. So the Scotsman, as I like to call him, Flying Scotsman 2.0, behind Liam Bowman, of course, from the other league. Cameron Dowds coming down in towards turn number 4, not looking too bad at all. I think we got Yossi just ahead of him on a lap, and he's a 44.189 in that middle sector combined. So not a bad lap there at all from Yossi going on at the minute. Cameron Dowds in the middle sector, 44.161, so he's also improving. Yossi now coming through the final corner, but he runs wide at the final corner on the run to the line. He would have improved 400ths of a second and put him actually into 3rd with that lap time. Cameron Dowds now through the final corner. Flying Scotsman 2.0. Is he going to be getting the steam engine out of that AlphaTauri on the run to the line? Yes, he does. 103.058, 100th of a second clear of Renz, who Jess, in the first sector, I can only describe as flying. 15.922 in that first sector from Renz. 200ths up. Coming now through the left-hand turn number 6. This middle sector is going to be absolutely crucial for Renz, as Mateo now goes quicker. He goes quicker than Cameron Dowds, but Renz is up 44 flats in that middle sector from Renz. Now coming through the final corner, the qualifying merchant himself. Now up the hill in towards the right-hander now of turn number 9, at the Jochen Rindt curve, and in towards turn number 10, at the Red Bull Mobile curve. As this Renz's pole position? Maybe not. He nearly ran wide at the final corner. Great entry, runs to the line. 103 flat, gains a lot of time. But that 300th of a gap is still concerning for me. Renz out on top, Mateo second, Cameron Dowds in 3rd. These guys have got to go again. Renz has not got pole position just yet.
No, it is really, really close. It's about 32 thousandths of a second separating each other. Probably less than that, about 29,000. So bring it on. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is not done yet. We would want you to get your predictions for pole position. Make sure you do... whilst you do that, check out our title sponsor, GT Omega, and also our partners, Sim Racing Centre, where you can get some lovely setups, including some coaching sessions from two-time esports champion Brendan Lee. Use the code 10% off for all setups. Use the code PSGL for 10% off. That's what I was trying to say. And you can get pre-order F124 setups as well, so you can get them just as F124 comes out, which will be amazing. I can't even watch. It's just going to take a small mistake for not to get pole position. It's 2 tenths between 1st and 14th.
Yeah, which is absolutely incredible. And it just comes to show, A, close qualifying in Austria, B, what a talented grid we've got here as well in terms of PSF1 this season. Renz out on top, all the way down to Erpek is what? 2 tenths of a second plus a little bit of change? That is absolutely incredible. We had the top 5 in F2 covered by less than 700ths of a second. So if you want anything to go by, top 4 here covered by, what's that, 5300ths of a second I make that out as? So very, very close indeed. From Renz all the way down to Urpec top 14, and then Renz all the way down to Cameron Dowd's first and fourth. We have got drivers now filtering out on their final runs. Your man, Volakongan, currently there in P10. I'm a bit concerned, though, by his teammate. The man who won around here last season in Kai Kinch, of course, Kazizel there down in 19th. A 103.470 from Kazizel, race winner last season. He has got to go big guns on this final run to try and get anywhere near where he should be, I think, in terms of qualifying. But his other teammate, the Mercedes of Volakongan, now coming through the Ockenrink cover turn 9, better start on his run.
Yeah, everyone's going to start their run now. The time to beat right now is a 103.003. But again, the margins are very tight in PSF1. Nobody's going to know who's going to get pole position. If you're within 2 tenths right now, you have a really, really good chance. You're not allowed to give slipstream either in PSGL in qualifying to your teammate.
Wow.
Otherwise, you could get as purple first sector, by the way, for Volakongan. I hope that's not the game lying to me as he heads towards turn number 4. We also got a lot of traffic going in the middle sector, as you can see Volakongan trying to defend that as well. He's the first man out on a lap time, so we may as well stay on board with him. Maybe he's chosen the wrong time to go out on a lap time, because literally everyone is out on the circuit at the same time. But Volakongan through turn 7 and 8 now on his soft tires in the Mercedes. Mercedes have done very, very well in the past in PSGL. Will Volakongan do exactly the same thing? Very tight margins for Volakongan. Nice done on the final sector. What's it going to be? 6th place. Not quite enough for pole position, but I don't think he has enough time to go again either. But everyone else is on their final runs. It's going to be a tough call, I think, on who's going to get pole. We'll see what happens.
Volakongan, I think, got a slight bit of slipstream off the Alpine who was coming out the pit lane alongside him. That's why he was a 15.8 in the first sector. Flopman's a 15.9 in the first sector. He looks like he's going to be one of the first, I think, to finish off on their lap times. I think he is going to be the first one to finish off on his lap time. The F7R man now coming through the left-hander of turn number 6. We'll see what he can do in terms of this lap time. Flopman, 5,000s down. Purple out of everyone in that middle sector. So the time is coming back as the lap time progresses. Needs to find a 10th of a second from somewhere, but this is a Flopman we're talking about, and normally he's quite good. Coming out through the final corner of Red Bull Mobile Curve at turn number 10, on the run toward the line, a little bit scrappy coming out the final corner, on the run to the line, and he goes pole, 102.967. He held that back. Ren 600ths down in the first sector. Matteo middle sector improving. 44.091. Purple out of everyone in the middle sector now for Matteo. Now up the hill in towards turn number 9 at the Ockenrink curve. We'll see as the time now down. Zolzo there goes second. Very good lap time from him. Bad lap time from Nutheg going 11th. Matteo now on the run to line. Does he outdo Flopman? Yes, he does. Just about by 5,000ths of a second. Renz, the time is coming back for him. 7,000ths up in the middle sector. On the run to line for Renz. No, not good enough. 103 flat in the end. Ian Van Unen there in 5th is invalid. Keki, I think, is 500ths down in the first sector. Yossi a 10th down in the middle sector. On the run to line, doesn't improve in the end. Looking at Sapala, possibly improving. 44.2 in the middle sector. So not looking too bad. At the minute, it's Matteo, Flopman, and Zolzo the top 3. That's how they might remain. Urpec there in 8. Volakongan outdoing them by 1,000th of a second, or 4,000th of a second. Split by Sapala even to the line going 13. But in the end, NLR Tim has just came out of nowhere to go pole. A 102.956 by 6,000ths of a second. I swear, Jess, he left it late last season as well, where he took pole, and he's done it again this season, in season 36 of PSF1.
He is a pole merchant in Austria. He was the last person to get a lap in, and he delivered here in Austria, and he even beat his time he did from last season, and 102.956, just a few thousandths quicker than Matteo. Flopman is quite close as well. Then we got Zorzo and Ren separated by 4,000ths. We got Renz and Ian separated by around about 50,000ths. Ian and Cameron Dow separated by 4,000ths. The margins are so tiny that it's going to be quite a close race regardless. We are going to get a lobby restart, but I hate driving Austria, but when I commentate Austria, I always look forward to it because the margins are so close.
And the top 17 are separated by 2.5 tenths of a second. Let's just put that into perspective of how close that is. We are even closer, top 5, by the way, than F2 was. So Evan Dalton, we've got the better team. I'm sorry to say it. Tim Adams up for Matteo there in second. Flotman there in third, with Zozo there in fourth. Ren's there in fifth. 47 hundredths of a second, separating the top 5. Any one of them could have got pole position. Really, really good stuff. Ian Van Noonen there in sixth. Cameron Dowd's there in 7th, Keki there in 8th, Volakongan just outdoing Urpek there in 9th, with Urpek there down in 10th. Kazizel, of course, race winner, of course, around here last season there in 11th. Yossi 12th, Gustav 13th, Tapala 14th, Newt there in 15th, Justin 16th, then Stefano, Ryan, Yaron, and then Baki, less than 4/10 of a second covering the field, Jess. We are about to take a word from our sponsor, of course, GT Maker. We'll see you on the other side.
What a crazy qualifying that we have just witnessed at PSGL PSF1. It was separated by 2.5 tenths. Who would have thought it? And it was NLR Tim who took pole position. He probably has to go for a very risky strategy if he wants to take the win. Because he didn't take the win last time. It was Kazizel. There was quite a few safety cars that day. But you never know. We could see quite a few surprises around here. Could we see our 5th different winner of the season? Well, it is possible, isn't it, James?
I mean, if we had our 5th different winner, it would be brilliant, because it's only round 4.
Sorry, 4. My brain tonight, bloody hell.
If we have our 4th winner, honestly, I think it just comes to show how good I think the field is this season. I think on paper, I said it at the start of the season, this is probably the strongest I think we've had in terms of talent, in terms of PSF1. Not disowning the guys that have been before. They are all very top-notch guys. But here in PSF1, you want to try and see the new breakout star from PlayStation. That could be Renz Thomason. He qualified 5th in the end in there. And NLR Tim, I wasn't even on board with that lap time for him, so I couldn't really comment on what he did. But he went and got set pole position in the end. 6,000 clear, 11,000 per second covering the top 3. We are in for one brilliant race, and if anything is to go by the roll of honour that we've had, the likes of Matthew Ward, the likes of Louis Welsh, the likes of Danny Moreno, Wilson Hughes, Jordan Poland, Duncan Hoffman, I'm going to say them all, why not? Philip Wouters, Tom Roberts, Louis Valentine and Kai Kinch last season. If you want to follow in their footsteps, one of these guys is going to be on that illustrious roll of honour in the 11th race that we have had on the modern F1 game cycles.
That is crazy. To be honest, as I was saying, Austria is a popular track for league racing. We race there every season because we love the great racing. It's very popular with the drivers. Well, a lot of the drivers. I hate racing it, to be honest, because it doesn't suit my driving style. But as a commentator, I absolutely love it. I mean, tyre management is going to be very tricky today because it is high speed. 5 to 7% lap wear on the soft compounder tyres, and anywhere between around about 4 to 5% mediums on the mediums and the hards. So some drivers may likely pit early if they go for a medium or a soft strategy. But we've seen in many tiers on the PC side and the PS this week, including PSF2, early safety cars. We've seen it last season as well, where people started on the softs maybe, or even the hards, go on to their mediums, then stretch it about lap 20, and then go on to the semi-mediums at the end of the race. So if there's a safety car lap one, and if you're on hards, do 2 sets of mediums, because technically you've raced in at least one different type of tyre compound.
Yeah, basically you can do 17 laps on each compounder tyre, which I think is what you're trying to say there. And yes, honestly, there could be a variety of strategies. I think we saw Max van der Geest in F2. He was the only one to start on a set of soft compounder tyres. Everyone else started on that set of hards. It is going to be so important. The set of softs, as you mentioned, Jess, about 5 to 6% tyre wear per lap. So by the time 5-6 laps come around, you're probably already going to be wearing out those tyres. But we saw last season how good the drivers were at actually keeping the tyre temps very, very low and actually getting them longer into the race. We saw drivers coming in and set us off from around lap 12, lap 13 onwards. So if that's the case, and we get a race like that, we could be in for an absolute treat. We could be in for 2 stops. What I can tell you, though, is we're in for an absolute treat.
We are in for an absolute treat as well. And of course, we've got some things to talk about in terms of where people are based as well. Volakonga may have not had the best of qualifyings. Obviously, drivers like Noof, Justin, Gustav, they need to climb their way up as well. It's drivers who haven't got as many points could have a chance to redeem themselves here as well. We don't have a clue about what the weather's going to be here in Austria. You never know. It might rain in Spielberg. It is possible. Almost every race I've commentated on or taken part in, most of the time it was raining. But PSGL is sometimes quite the opposite, sometimes as well. Even though it's 4.318 kilometers track, it says it's easy. It's definitely not easy. You've got to manage your battery. You've got to manage the drivers around you as well. We don't want to see what happened in 2021, 2022, where we saw a Red Bull and a Mercedes come together through turn 4. We don't want to see that. Every single driver is in the lobby, James, so hopefully we should be about to get going soon as Ryan sets up the grid.
Yeah, Ryan is just setting up the grid right now. It is going to be a dry race, is what I can report. Ryan has just literally told me this in the PSF1 Discord.
Thank you.
So we are going to be getting a dry race, which is really good because everyone's on an even playing field. Everyone is good to go. We are good to go now because the drivers are already up in the lobby. Nooth, by the way, mentioning in the Discord, I'm just going to read this out because I think it's absolutely hilarious. Half of NLR completely washed. They've got 7 drivers tonight, and I think 6 of them are in the bottom half of the grid. Just let that sink in for a little bit.
Never Last Racing. Trying to have that pun there. Well, you said you never
That's
lost.
terrible.
Sorry. Well, you usually do the pun. Look, these guys in NLR are gonna hate me. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. I take that back. But yeah, we are about to get underway. Before we do get underway, though, quick plug of our sponsors once again. GT Mega. We're sitting in those lovely, comfy chairs. They're nice and comfy, by the way. 5% off all GT Mega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. Or you can click the link in the description, or use command !GT Mega in chat. James, do you want to tell us about our partner, Sim Racing Centre?
Yeah, Sim Racing Centre indeed. Let me just get the information up because I haven't got it on me. There we are. Sim Racing Centre is PSGL's new sponsor for F123. They are the lead provider for all things F123 and indeed F124 coming up as well. And you can get a mega setup, expert engine, even a strategy advice, a one-to-one coaching with some of their amazing team. You can book a session and get direct advice from 2-time F1 esports champion Brendan Lee. You can have a look at SRC using the description in the link below, in the link in the description below. That came out wrong. Using the link below and use PSGL at checkout, 10% off of your purchase, and that includes F124 setups as well because they are out. The game has been released in 2.5 months' time on my mum's birthday as well, which is very nice.
Yeah, 31st of May for the standard edition. I can't remember what it was for the champions. I think it's 28th.
28. Yeah.
I'm just... So it is quite early as well, but that gives drivers plenty of chance to pretty much use the F1 2024 cards nice and early as well. It's not going to be that long before you wait as well, but we've still got plenty of rounds this season still to go on F1 23. We are ending at a decent time as well, so plenty to look out for too as well. So get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to win this one? I'm going to give James some time to think about it. I'm going to give you guys some time to think about it as well. But sometimes necessarily the driver that starts on pole doesn't necessarily win the race. There's so many avenues that this race could go under with this, like the terms of safety cars. Obviously, weather won't play into a factor. There could be time management issues as well, fuel issues if we get no safety car. So it is really hard to tell. But James, you've had some time. Who do you think is going to win?
You're still putting me on the spot. Do you know what? I am probably going to get absolutely hated on by this in the chat. I am going to go for... I'm just having a look at the grid. Do you know what? I'm going to go for a bit of a rogue one. Down in P12. His race pace will be stronger than his qualifying. Yossi.
Yossi, that is not a bad move, to be honest. I'm going to go for someone who has won a race already, who won in race 1, but we're about to get underway. You're going to have to wait and see who my picker winner is, but we are underway here in Austria. Tim and Matteo got an equal start into turn 1. Flottman gets a good start as well. Zorzo's well on the back of them. I see a hat in the background, trying to get up the inside in towards the first corner, but Matteo leads from Tim. It could be 3 wide going up the hill past turn 2 to King. Now heading towards turn 3, which is very, very tight as well. One of them has to back off, surely. We've got Tim going round the outside, but he's losing all places because of it. We don't know what tyres people are on, but it's Flottman that leads. He gets past Matteo in second, Tim in third, Zorzo in fourth place. We could see him move once again. Down the right-hand side, in towards turn 4, Slosh Gold goes Matteo, and there's just so much ding-dong battling happening right now in terms of the front, but Flottman retakes the lead. Cameron Dow's trying to get the move past Rented towards turn number 7. Now can he hold his line? Yes, he does. Cameron Dow's up to 5th. Wow.
One of the most aggressive lap ones I think I've ever seen around here in Austria, and how on earth everyone have kept it clean, I do not know. Nobody is going to come in the pit lane, which is absolutely remarkable. How on earth Flottman's in the race lead after that switchback at turn number 3, I do not know. He's 4 turns clear, Matteo there in second, Tim there in third. Very, very good start from all of them. Erpek there getting overtaken by Volokongan down the straight in towards turn 1. Gustav on the back of him as well in the med pack. Everyone's on a set of hard compound of tyres, by the way, so everyone is on that same set of tyres. That means we could see potentially Zach Kazizel looks the inside line on the back of Keki to the inside of Ian Van Unen. Very late on the brakes, the man who won here last season, and now he's got Yossi, my man, for the win, on the back of him down the hill and towards turn number 4, Schloschko. The Alpine now pulls out to the outside line. Kazizel takes the inner, but he's very deep on the brakes. Kazizel there just pretty much making contact there with the Alpine. Hangs it to the inside line through turn number 4, there through turn 5, and Yossi has to back out of that one. Keki there and Sapala getting side by side as well. Kazizel just about got away with that, but if he tries that very late on the brakes, he's not going to last too long in this race.
Nope, it's not. You can't afford to be too aggressive too early on. One lap may be enough, but these guys know how to manage these tyres. So they're probably, some drivers are going to play absolutely safe. DRS is enabled. We got our first yellow flag of the session. Ryan's had a bit of a spin. So was Noob, so they must have made contact. Erpek might have got involved as well because he is now in the pit lane. So I think he's going to change his front wing, which is unfortunate because that is one of James's pick, which is going to be an absolute shame now. But we're now on to lap 3. DRS will be activated. We will see some DRS chicken. I can tell you that. As Cameron Dow's also Ian and Ren's fighting in the mid-pack, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And the more they keep squabbling, the top 3 are just going to keep pulling away. But Zorzo trying to get past Cameron Dow to the inside. No, it's Ian trying to get past Zorzo, sorry, through turn number 5. And it looks like he's done it. Nicely done for me in there, who's currently sitting in 7th in the championship and definitely wants to climb higher in the title race. But past turn 7 and 8 now, Ian is now trying to close into Cameron Dow's, but it's also still on the back of this. This can get very, very intense, James.
Yeah, we're gonna go on to lap 4 right now. These guys have really got to calm it down. They're getting very aggressive out on track. I don't know who's fed them breakfast here today, but honestly, they are well and truly up for this, which is always good. I did say it can be aggressive, fair racing. That's what we've seen so far. Ren's on the back of Zorzo, coming down to turn number 1, just a little bit off camber coming through turn number 1. Now chasing down the back of Zorzo. I don't think we're going to get side by side up the hill. Maybe Justin Volokongan, if there's any battle going to happen. Flottman getting closed in by Matteo there in towards turn number 5. Oh, as that Keki gets up the inside line of Yossi. Yossi comes out on top of that one. Keki forced the inside line. Try and get that move down the hill now and towards turn number 4. And Yossi definitely struggling. You're not using up any battery, but Keki is to the outside line. 36% of battery compared to Yossi on 71. And Yossi shuts the door on him. Coming through turn number 4. Yossi, my man, is there, still in P9. Shuts the door on Keki. That's exactly what you want to do from a rampaging Ferrari behind you. Rampaging NLR man at that as well. Flottman leads the way. Matteo there in second. Tim there in third. The top 3 were going to get away, but Cameron Dowd, who do you want at the front of a train? Pretty much when a split's going to happen, Cameron Dowd. He's there in 4th. He's got Ian Van Unen behind him for help. Cameron Dowd is right on the back of Tim, and he's definitely got into his groove now because you can tell he is just on it. Lap upon lap upon lap on the back of Tim. He's looking probably quicker out of the front 4 right now.
Yeah, I think so as well. He started a bit lower in the field and already he's in the top 4, so it's great to see with his consistency. Meanwhile, Mateo's looking to try and go for a move past Flopman in towards turn number 3, which he does, but Flopman could get the DRS, and Tim is going to try and spoil the party along with Cameron Dowles. Cameron Dowles could follow Tim through, but here comes Flopman once again in towards Schloss Gold. Is he going to do it? Nope, he's not going to do it. He is going to be thinking about it next lap, potentially. So is Tim. And they are just going to be trying to save as much battery as they possibly can. Meanwhile, in the background, Cipolla and Keke through turn number 7, 6 and 7. And something's gone on in the background, which is not ideal. There is a bit of contact as Gustav tries once again to get past Keke. We've got Cipolla as well in the Alpine, trying to make amends on his teammate Yossi. There's just so much things happening on lap 5 already, and we're going to be going on to lap 6 very soon as well. Let's jump to the front. Flopman versus Matteo. What would you do in this situation? Because you don't want to have no DRS going in towards turn 4, but turn 3 is probably an easier overtake.
If you've got the overspeed, go for it, like what Flopman was going to do, but he sits in behind now. Cameron Dowds, though, has got the overspeed to the inside line of turn number 3 at Remus, and actually might be the inside line of Flopman here running down the hill towards turn number 4. Flopman now has to use up all that battery just to get ahead, and I think he's going to have to sit in behind Matteo for now. Matteo leading the way, Flopman in 2nd, Cameron Dowds in 3rd, and there goes Ian Van Unen there under pressure from Zolzo. Zolzo as well, pressurising Rens Thomason. Rens there on the outside line now for the inside, in towards turn number 6. Zolzo trying to go all the way around the outside. Can it be a magician sort of move from the Spaniard? Not quite. Rens there in 6th. Zolzo there in 7th. Zolzo couldn't find that move through. Red Bull on the back of the Williams, run up the hill and towards Rin Curve, but Mateo leading the way. Flopman there in 2nd. Cameron Dowds in 3rd. Back to your point, Jess. I think if I was Flopman right now, I'd be conserving that battery. I did say about ERS harvesting. Flopman there, 97% of ERS. Mateo on 82. Cameron Dowds on 54. Flopman right now has got everyone's number in terms of the ERS.
So yeah, if you have the advantage of getting the most ERS, you could use it at the right moments where a lot of people are trying to save energy too, and Flopman could try once again.
No, Flopman!
But Flopman was very tight going in towards turn number 3, and Cameron Dowles almost got him as well, but Cameron Dowles did get past him up into 3rd place. Has Urpex out of the session, but he's behind the pit lane, so no safety car. Mateo defends off Flopman. Mateo's like, no thank you, sir. Your P1 is not coming, baby, in Austria. The hills are going to be alive for me tonight as Kazizel, last season's race winner around here, tries to get past Yossi in towards turn number 7, which he does. A very well-calculated move from the Mercedes driver, which he's up into 8th place. Don't forget, in PSGL, the top 10 do score points. 1st place gets 16 points, and 10th place gets 1 point. So it's all to play for as well, with it being round 4 of the championship. I thought it was round 5 earlier on, but that just shows what mistakes I make in the stream, as we're on lap 8 at the moment, still very tightly bunched together. Flopman's going to have another chance, but he hasn't just got Mateo to worry about. He's got Cameron Dowles, he's got Tim, but looks like Flopman is trying to defend attack of Mateo in towards turn number 3. Cameron Dowles decided it's the right thing just to back out at this point.
And Kazizel falls to the move on Zozo further down the field as well. They're now running side by side down the straight in towards Schlossgold at turn number 4. Sapala on the back of Yossi. Yossi now going to be under pressure from the Williams, from his teammate even, going around the outside in towards turn number 4. Yossi just about to shut the door on him. Sapala's still there. We don't want to see a Gasly Ocon situation like we have done in the past. And they're still side by side going there through the left-hander of turn number 9, through turn number 6 even. Nearly forcing each other out on track. Alpine have declared civil war out on track. And that's definitely civil war. There's a front wing damage there flying off. That's Gustav, I think, caught up in that. That might be a VSC or a safety car coming in. I think everyone's got away with it. Gustav, though, hasn't. He's got no front wing on that car. Neither is Justin. He's got no front wing either. Do not know how that is not a VSC out on track. But Flopman leads the way, and all of that has done. Cameron Dowds now through to 2nd. Mateo there in 3rd. Tim there in 4th. Ian Van Unen in 5th. A quarter even of the way through here. Cameron Dowds now under pressure from Mateo. Action happening up and down the field, so apologies if our commentary is all over the place tonight. Cameron Dowds and Mateo still side by side, come down to turn number 3 at Remus. Now the downhill stretch in towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold. There's Cameron Dowds Gonna hold the move on Matteo. Matteo, the championship leader, around the outside. Now in toward the left-hander, or the right-hander even of turn number 4. Cameron Dowd's looking to the inside line. Matteo was still there. The McLaren. Now the Pop-Icon McLaren to the inside line and towards turn number 6. Cameron Dowd's on the outside line. Gonna be forced off track slightly. Still gets the traction coming through turn number 7. Now and towards Verth Curve at turn number 8, and this is brilliant stuff from Cameron Dowd and Matteo. 2 young guns going at it. This is what I like to see, and Matteo is the one that gets out on top of that brilliant battle between them both. I said I wanted to see this battle every single time I do commentary with them. Matteo and Cameron Dowd have just provided one of the best battles of the season.
Yes, I agree, and that is how you battle in PSF1. Take a bow, Matteo and Cameron Dowd. I wonder if anyone will have to respond to that later on in this race, or maybe now as well. Flopman is able to increase the gap because those two keep squabbling. Those two have got to work together. They can't afford to squabble around like this. As Zorzo and Cazillo having a little bit of a ding-dong fight too, as Cazillo trying to fend off the inside on the exit of turn number 3, but Zorzo's getting a good exit speed. Down the hill in towards turn number 4. Slosh go they go. As I said, that corner on because he's going to dive around the right-hand side potentially. He's not going to do so. Oh, no. Zorzo's gone deep and they both make a bit of contact.
Was that a mistake from Kazizel, or was that...
It was hard to tell because I was on board.
That was really hard to tell. I was off an onboard camera. I wasn't even on board with that. And I don't know. I can't really call that one, to be honest, because Zizzle there is ahead of Zorzo. I think if he wants to let that position through, if he feels he's a judge to that, I think Zizzle should let the position go. But Zorzo's just caught the inside curb through turn number 9 there, on the back of him. Zizzle there and 8, Zorzo there and 8. It's very difficult because turn number 4, it's an off-camber corner. It's very, very easy to slide that rear end out. That's what it looked like to me for Kazizel. But it also looked like to me they were going far too aggressive in terms of that battle, and there might have been a bit of contact. There may have been a bit of afters going up the hill now in towards turn number 3. Keki through on Zorzo, and as a result, Kazizel cannot let the man through. That, I think, could be a Stonewall penalty, could be a racing incident. It's one of those things.
It is hard to tell, of course, as we're seeing fastest laps go left, right and centre. Looks like Renz wants to have a little bit of a fight with Ian Van Erven, but Ian Van Erven is placing his car in the right places through turn number 4, Schlossgold, and Renz has nothing to do about it. He has nothing to respond about it right now. Tibola is out of the way. We could get our first safety car, and yes, we do. We get our first safety car. Now, most people are on the hard compounder tyres, and it will be too early to get your one-stops done early. So, I'm guessing they're going to probably go on to medium. Some people will try and stretch it to the end, but it's gonna be tight, I think. So we'll see what happens. Jamie, you might think differently.
Yeah, I think everyone's got to come in the pit lane. I think 25-lap mediums can probably get to the end of the race. We're going to be under the safety car for, what, maybe 2 or 3 laps? So by the time the safety car comes in, they're going to be, what, maybe 2-3% worn as they go through on their underneath the safety car. Yossi has gone for a set of softs. I'm not sure if that is a genius call or if that is just him playing, or the game playing silly there and he selected the wrong tyre. He's there on a set of soft compounder tyres. But what he could do is potentially go back onto a set of hards. If he's got a fresh set of hards, he could do that. Nuth could be doing the same thing as well. Down in 13th, he's onto a set of soft compounder tyres. We have got a mixture of strategies, yeah, and Volakongan is the only one that's actually decided to go for the set of hards. So Volakongan, out of everyone where there could be punctures towards the end of the race, if everyone goes to the mediums, they can do towards the end if they can. Volakongan might be the sensible one. He's gone for a set of hard compounder tyres. As of Yossi and Noob, I think they'll come back into the pit lane and they'll also go on for a set of hard compounder tyres. But it's one of these things. We're the commentators. We're not the experts. These guys are in terms of strategy out on track. Flopman leading the way, Matteo second, Cameron Dowd in third. We are under safety car. And Sapala, by the way, that incident, he got caught on the outside curb through turn number 4. Nothing you can do about it, just a simple mistake. It happens to the best of us, and unfortunately, Sapala has found the wall through turn number 4.
Yeah, so that makes it 2 retirements thus far, and our predictions going into this race saying, oh, we're going to get a safety car in the first 3 laps. Well, we did get a safety car in the first 3 laps. We got a safety car in the first half of the race. Does that count? Maybe not, but that just shows that 100% of the time in PSF1, we've got a safety car. As we've got more pit stops, as Noof is going from softs to probably a set of hards. if he's got some left, or maybe go on to set up the medium compounder tyres, but he's going to fall probably back to the back anyway. So let's see what these two drivers do. So, your Road's gone on a set of hards, New's gone for a set of hards. Very smart. That could get to the end of this race. Very, very interesting tactic. So we're seeing 3 different types of strategy being played here. Yossi's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to try and get near the front. Those mediums may not make it anyway, so I'm going to see if I can try and get as many positions as I possibly can. It is a big gamble for Yossi, but if it pays off, you never know. We could see another safety car. That's probably what he's banking on right now.
That's what I think about 3/4 of the field are banking on right now, because Dirk even there in the chat said, to be honest, it should be more like 84% tyres, and that's towards the end of the race, he's saying. Could be even 86%. That is obviously, as the safety car is going to come in this lap, that's obviously puncture territory. And there could be punctures toward the end of this race if drivers decide to stay out there on a set of mediums. I think they're banking on another safety car. Flopman now is the virtual Burt Barlander. He's now the virtual safety car. He's been in this position before, I think, in Monaco, as well as, of course, in other leagues as well. But Flopman now coming through the left-hander turn number 7. Now through the turn number 8, the right-hander even, the turn number 8 at the Rauk curve. Hope I pronounced that right. Now coming up the hill into the Rint curve at turn 9. Rint is a bit better to pronounce, I've got to be honest. Flopman, though, coming up the hill, going to get this restart underway very shortly indeed. When is he going to decide to go? Now is when he decides to go. Coming in toward the right-hander of turn number 9. We're back under green flag racing here in Austria, and Flopman has already exploded away. 7/10 of a second over Matteo. Cameron Dowd's there in 3rd. Tim there in 4th. Watch out for the man in 8th position, though, Yossi. He's going to try and make inroads very quickly indeed through this field on that sort of soft compounder tyre. First up is Keki on his hit list, running up the hill now and towards turn number 3 at Remus, and already gets a much better toe. He's even got the move done halfway up the straight. Yossi has flown past Keki to the inside line, surely to get the job done, and that is him now through, and he's into 7th, and that is now him going to close up the gap to everyone else in the field.
No challenge there for Yossi. Yossi is on it like a car bonnet, and I might have just made that phrase up, but I don't even care right now as well. He means business here, and he didn't go on the soft tyres to mess around. He went on the soft tyres because he wanted to make some overtakes, and he wanted to get involved in some battling, and he's going to chase down Renz very, very soon. So it's Flopman now on top. Matteo in 2nd. Cameron Dow's doing very decent in 3rd. He's trying to catch Matteo as well. And it's interesting to see who is faster on a particular tyre. Some people may hate the hard tyres and like the mediums, or vice versa. Some people may not like the mediums, but they may be forced to go on that particular tyre. Cameron Dow's going to get a good run on Matteo in towards turn number 1. But he's going to think smart. He's not going to go for the overtake yet. He's going to wait for turn number 3, or he's potentially going to wait until the next lap where he could get DRS potentially. But he's got the straight line speed to do it. He could probably get DRS from Flopman anyway. So I wonder if he's going to try and go for the move now. But without DRS, in some corners, it is very hard to overtake for some drivers. It again depends on your setup, as the top 3 stay where they are for now. So they're all pretty much, James, pretty much bunched together.
Yeah, they are bunched together. I'll be honest, I thought Yossi would have been a bit quicker off this line. He's coming out through the left-hander at turn number 6. He's on the back of Renz, don't get me wrong. He is catching the back of Renz. But I thought he would have been a lot quicker in getting his moves done and just basically holding on to the front 3 if he was to get the moves done on Tim, Ian Van Loon and Renz. I'm not sure. He's obviously holding back on the ERS. He's holding back on his pace slightly, but he runs wide coming out of turn number 9. So maybe already those softs are not necessarily being the better tyre out on track. Now he's going to prove me wrong, because he's now flying on the back of him up the hill in towards turn number 1 at the louder curve. So this could be now move 2 for Yossi. On the back of Renz, they're all within DRS range though, so Yossi is going to have to use up a lot of battery to get this job done. 70% now he's got to the inside line of Renz, in towards turn number 3 at Remus. Should be job done, and Yossi cascades to the inside line. Beautiful move in the end. He's up into 6th position. But honestly, I thought he would have been a lot more aggressive on this race start than actually necessary. Yossi, in the end, just picking and choosing, and sometimes you've just got to say in commentary, what on earth do I know?
Yeah, sometimes you may want to not take too many risks too soon, because you don't want to push your tyres potentially, because there is a danger that if Yossi pushes 100% for the next few laps, those softs are not going to get into an operating window. There's going to be people closing in anyway. So what Yossi is doing is saving his tyres and then pushing later on in the stint when the softs would eventually die out as well. This is very, very important. Your tyre management is one of the key challenges that these drivers are going to face around this circuit. And Yossi is maybe just going to do one lap of pushing, one lap of just banking and saving. One lap of pushing, one lap of banking and saving. Sometimes he does 2 bits of saving in a row. And that's what Yossi's going to do right now. And he proves my theory correctly. Yossi's to the inside of turn number 3, past the MotoGP chicane. And he's up into 5th place now. And he's chasing down Tim. So he knows when to go for moves. He knows not. And that is why he's doing so well on his tyres.
Yeah, really astute driving, I've got to say, from Yossi. Astute basically meaning really good driving from Yossi there in 5th. He's just picking and choosing his moves, and this is what I like. He's not taking the aggressive approach. He's not going to go and force Tim off track or whatever. Yossi is just using those tyres up to his good effect and his operating window, as you mentioned, Jess. He's on the back of Tim now. I think he'll hold back off the back of Tim this lap around. We saw him twice now, could be 3 times in a row, if he uses battery. Coming out of this final corner here, I'm on board with Yossi now. He uses no battery coming out the final corner. So this is now going to be him just conserving a little bit of that battery. ERS harvesting is what I like to call it around here. Just harvest that battery, just utilise it at the points where necessary. And again, up the straight, he's not going to go because he realised that Matteo was going to go for the race lead on Flopman anyways. To the inside line, Cameron Dowds trying to go in the middle of the pair as well. Now up the hill and towards turn number 3. Matteo hangs on to the inside line. Flopman gets the better traction though, and he's got the DRS down the straight and towards turn number 4. Cameron Dowds though has got the slipstream on both of them, and he could now come to the inside line on the back of Matteo. It's 3 wide, similar to F2. Early on in the night, Flopman there leading the way, and Cameron Dowds gets it into second. Matteo has been done, and Yossi getting the move on Tim again. Very astute driving from the Alpine. Out of nothing, really, that battle happened from Yossi and Tim. He's into 4th. Really good driving though between Flopman and Cameron Dowds, and Matteo ended up just saying, you know what, come through.
How on earth did they not make contact? That was great driving from the top 3, and Yossi was able to save a couple of laps ago, and he was able to push for quite a long time to try and catch up to these guys. He's in the leading bunch now as well, and he could be on the same strategy as well, but those tyres are not going to last forever around Austria. The track temperatures will get hotter and hotter as we approach half race distance very, very soon. We're actually at half race distance now, and it's Flopman out on top, Cameron Dowds in second, and Flopman is trying to defend of Cameron Dowds, and that was very tight entry from all 3 of them, but Cameron Dowds takes the lead. Ian Van Even tries to get past Tim, which he does, and he's going to try and get past Yossi as well in towards turn number 4. Is anyone going to respond to this? Yossi's going to try and get a lot of drivers in one, and it'll be insane if he could do it. His next target is Matteo in towards turn number 6, but he's been under pressure by Ian now. Maybe his softs are going potentially pretty much earlier than expected through turn number 7. They're still going side by side through there. How are they doing it without making contact? It's absolutely insane, and that is allowing Matteo just to pull away just a tiny bit, and Cameron Dowds too. But Yossi, fair play for defending like that. That was incredible. But we've got Renz joining in the fight as well. He's trying to get past Tim in towards turn number 1, which he does.
Yeah, job done for Ramsey. Soon he's into 6th. All of that led from aggressive battling. And do you know what Tim's going to do? He's going to let Keke through. But in turn, he's going to let Baki through as well, because Baki follows Keke through. I think he realises that. Doesn't go for the move. Now into the outside line, though. He could try and get the traction on the outside of turn number 3. On board with the Ferrari. Coming down the hill now. On board with the Sauber of Baki as well. Running down the straight and towards turn number 4. Schlosskel, my favourite corner. Out on track. Very hard into the brakes from the Sauber. Looking to the inside line on the Ferrari. They're still side by side as they come through this part of the track. Tim and Baki still pretty much a wit's end, I've got to say, in terms of the racing here. It's brilliant to watch. And now, all the way around the outside from Baki. What a move that is around the outside. Baki, he may have been benched in F1 Esports Challenges. That's what he can do. Baki through the pole into 8th. Tim has just been done like an absolute kipper around the outside. It's easy stuff in the end from Baki. Tim has just been absolutely done for. Baki, what a move that is. Possibly move of the season.
I liked how you said kipper there in that sentence. It's crazy. But Baki, he didn't Well, he didn't get picked from an F41 Esports team, but he's definitely showing the pace that he's got in a PSF1. And look at Kazizzle. He's past Tim now. So Tim is struggling. Tim has damage. Yeah, he's dropping down the field. So there's a yellow flag, but Yossi gets past Ian up into 4th place. And it could be free wide and getting towards Schloss Gold with Rend joining in. Is he going to go left or right? He's being boxed in, is the Haas driver, but Yossi stays ahead. For now, that is in question marks. For now, Red's going to try and go to the right-hand side in towards turn number 6. There's not much space being left between the two of them. Red has lost a bit of ground, so Kake can fight back. Through turn number 8 they go. Lovely helicopter shot that you can see right now. But Ian is doing what we saw the Haas drivers do yesterday, but in a less aggressive manner and a much cleaner manner.
Put it this way, Jess, it's the first time I think I've felt ever stressed in commentary because I'm stressing for these guys out of track. This is aggressive racing. It's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. It's brilliant from the viewing perspective. One mistake, though, will absolutely rip this race apart. And that is what we're looking at. Lap 22 out of 36. Do not want to be getting anywhere near the sort of aggressive racing that we normally expect in the final couple of laps of the race. This has been brilliant so far. Cameron Dowd's leading the way. Flopman in second. Mateo there in third. Dirk saying in the chat, even on YouTube, when softs die, they might. And that, I think, is going to be around about this point in the race, around about 12, 13 laps. This is where the softs really begin to fall off. Yeah. You can just see a little bit of tyre graining, actually, from Mateo just ahead of him. They're going so aggressively in terms of the battles. They're having to use up extra tyre wear. Extra tyre wear means you're not going to get to the end of the race. Yossi, oh my word, nearly loses it through turn number 7 as I'm on board with him. Renz, I think, nearly did the same thing and behind him. But Yossi there in 4th. Ian Van Unen there in 5th. Renz there in 6th. That'll be the battle to watch out for. And what Matthias has said in the chat as well, it depends on how much ERS Ian and Renz have. I can say that Ian has got 19%, Renz 47%, and for the top 4, Yossi on 51, Mateo on 98, Flopman on 100, Cameron Dowd on 98. So the top 3 have everything covered in terms of ERS.
Yeah, and I think that's important at this stage. They're going to pretty much burn it towards the end of the race, I feel. Watch this space as Kazizzle is going out of nowhere, trying to get past Backy, which he does absolutely beautiful. He doesn't care that he got a time penalty. He's going to try and fight every position like no tomorrow. Ian Van Unen defending from Rent once again. Rent has had how many attempts in this part of the Grand Prix, but unfortunately you can't get past him. But he knows that Ian is pushing on his tyres a little bit too much, I can tell, from the way that he is driving, potentially. So Rand is going to be like, just stay calm, be patient, you will potentially get your moves soon. But they're potentially going to be held up by Yossi, who's on the soft tyres. Is Yossi going to think about going into the pit? He is in. He doesn't want to stretch those tyres even longer. That is the perfect time to pit, because after that, the tyres go, as I experienced in a league race myself. And that was perfect timing from Dirk as well. So Dirk can read each other's minds.
No, he hasn't.
No, but he's going on mediums. He's going on mediums.
I thought he had a front wing change, though, actually.
No, he couldn't get those tyres to the end. He had to box. Tim's in as well. Yeah, Tim's got front wing change.
Yeah, Tim, I knew he had damage. He was letting everyone through throughout the field. I think he must have had damage maybe underneath the safety car, perhaps. But Yossi now, he's on that fresh side of medium compounder tyres. 14 seconds is the gap between him and Nuth. That is an important gap because all of that splitting is not happening right now. Everyone's in a DRS train ahead. Yossi is in clear air. He can now fly. Mediums possibly could not get to the end of the race. Is this a stroke of genius from Yossi? And am I going to be on for an absolute godsend in terms of a prediction here, in for a race win? Or is it going to be one of the worst calls? Yeah, I think it's going to be all dependent on whether or not it gets aggressive in terms of the racing. If it gets aggressive, that could be a safety car. If it doesn't, and everyone keeps their cool heads, then I think Yossi has came into the pit lane. Yes, it'll be quick, but once he gets up to that train, he's got no chance.
I didn't have time to say my prediction for the race win, but I've stuck to it. I didn't change it. I've gone for Mateo for the race win, but he's in third place. So it's going to be tight, I think, if he wants to do it. As Ryan to the inside of Backy towards turn number 3. Backy tries to get Ryan, which he does. And don't forget, this is the fight for the final points-paying positions in this race. And 1 point can make a difference between where you are in the championship. And look at Ryan. He almost made a bit of a mistake. Stefano almost had a bit of a twitch there. And that's allowing Gustav to try and send it down the inside in towards turn number 6, which he does not. Ryan covers them off very, very nicely indeed. But the gap is getting closer and closer between, you guessed it, Flopman and Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd left the session.
Hopefully we can get him back in. Cameron Dowd. Oh no, hopefully his dad hasn't unplugged the router or anything. Let's hope he can get back in very soon. He should have a backup invite from Ryan. If not, I'll try and give him an invite if we can. Flopman leading the way, Matteo second, Cameron Dowd in third. Justin is into the pit lane. That's an interesting one. He's on a set of medium compound tyres. Clearly he feels a set of soft compound tyres, or he's got a little bit of front wing damage on that car. He's into the pit lane.
Cameron has
No
joined.
front wing damage on the car. Cameron's back in, which is good. He's on a set of soft compound tyres. Yossi's already breezed past him down the straight. Justin has been outdone completely. Ren's there on the back of Ian Van Noonen. Very, very close to a bit of contact coming out of the corner. Keke now having a good run down the straight in towards turn number 4 on the back of them. But I think Ian Van Noonen has got that move done on Ren's. They do like to fight, these two, Ian and Renz. They are very, very good mates out on track. Very, very good mates in terms of the racing. And Keke, Net trying to join in the mix as well. The old guard on the left-hand side. Net coming through turn number 6 in behind, but he's not going to get that move done. And Kai Kinch, Kazizel, in there in 6th position. Surely he's not going to do the 2-timer.
Well, he's got a penalty, so he'll need to pull a 3-second gap, James, in order to do that. But anything is possible in PSGL, PSF1. You never know. There could be some incidents that could happen. Well, we hope the incidents don't happen, because otherwise we're going to be having a lot to say in the stewards' room. Dirk actually saying in the chat that they think that Yossi might get close. And James just made a good point in the chat. 2 seconds a lap. He is catching up. He's 9.3 seconds behind this train. Don't count Yossi out for the race win. James might have struck gold in terms of his prediction. Yossi might have struck gold with his prediction. Renz and Ian going side by side as well. It was almost too close to disaster. But Ian in 3rd place. Ian is driving a stellar race, but they got to be careful with the battery. And look at this. Keke, of all people, trying to get involved as well. Keke is having a decent showing at the moment as well. He's been saving his medium tyres, I can definitely tell you that. Flopman is leading out on track. Matteo in 2nd, but it can all change like a drop of a hat. Make sure you stay tuned in for the last 8 or so laps of this race. Anything can happen. Softs can get to the end if they want to. Will any of the ones on mediums go out on softs, or will they gamble and stay on mediums?
One warning, by the way, at the minute for the front 2. Ian Van Noonen's got 2 warnings, so if he gets another warning, that'll be a 3-second penalty. Keke has got 1 warning, that's from lap 1, and Renz at the minute in the top 5, he's also got 1 warning. So it's Ian Van Noonen, the man there in P3 right now, that could be in trouble from a 3-second penalty. Yossi closed in last lap around 1.5 seconds on the back of Nuke, so that's basically 1.5 seconds on the rest of the field. As there goes Kazizel to the inside line. He's far too late on the brakes there. Nearly knocks Keke's rear wing off there in towards turn number 3. And now Zorzo and Stefano are going to go side by side with them down the straight. Renz on the back of Keke as well. Might just have to tuck in there. Stefano now to the inside line. 3 wide on the Red Bull. Nearly gets chopped off at the bit there. Kazizel driving very aggressively. Stefano now to the inside line, trying to get the job done through turn number 4. Zozo now around the outside of turn number 6. Rear diffuser cam going on there with Red Bull, but it ends up in contact because Kazizel to the inside of Stefano makes contact. Ryan gets through. Zozo now into 9. Cameron Dowd there in 10th, rejoining in this mid-pack. Backy there in 11th. Backy there dropping down the field. All of this battling's good for Yossi, but it's not now because he's got a 3-second penalty.
Well, that is commentator's curse, Mr. James Head there as well, but we got 4 drivers who have got penalties so far. So if they're in a safety car now, it will not help them one bit. But someone is saying in the chat, Matthias is saying in the chat, he might get positions with punches though. It is possible. Do you know roughly when punch territory is on those mediums?
Probably be around about 3 laps from the end of the race, I would think. About 75% wear, it'll be about 3 laps before the end. So anywhere between lap 34 and 36.
Oh, so people may not get it at all.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be one of those things.
Very, very tight indeed. Make sure you stay tuned in, and this could be very, very interesting in terms of the championship. Of course, after Austria, we got Canada and France up next, and they're 2 completely different tracks. You want to do well here because Canada is very tight, and you could get quite a lot of penalties on there if you're not careful. France requires a lot of downforce. Austria is top speed all the way in a lot of corners, but you got to, there's some corners where you're going to compromise it for a bit of downforce. And some people saying in the chat it's pure luck. Yeah, it's pure luck on who gets punches when, because there could be one driver that could get a puncher with 70%, some could get it at 80 or even 90%. It just varies, and you just got to be, the trick is, you got to be smooth with the wheel if you're on a wheel. If you're on a pad, I don't have a clue. As Cameron Dowles gets past Ryan up into 9th place, this connect has definitely hurt him. He could have been on chance for a race win, but at least he's still going in this race. He's not giving up.
Yeah, anything can happen in front of him. That's the real grace of sim racing. Anything could happen in front of him. One mistake from anyone in front could let a whole kettle of fish in between. And Cameron Dowd's there. He is the man that will withstand that pressure. He will be the man that applies that pressure later on in this race. Beautiful helicopter cameras are right on board with the mid-pack. Flopman leading the way. Matteo in second. Ian Van Noonen there in third. If I'm a betting man right now, I'd say Yossi's probably not on for this race win. But I've been proven wrong before. I'll prove myself wrong if that is the case as well. But I think the winner is going to come out of the front 5 right now. I think Flopman is looking quite good in terms of battery, as is Matteo. Ian Van Noonen's the one with concern. He's got that penalty potentially overhanging him with that 3 seconds if he picks up another warning. Ren's on 37%, not looking good in terms of battery. Neither is Keke. So honestly, it could be between the front 2. Flopman and Matteo, with 6 laps to go, lead the way. Ian Van Noonen, Ren's, Keke, top 5. And then Ryan and Gustav having a battle down the mid-pack. 3 wide almost with Cameron Dowds now. Getting now chopped and changed. Cameron Dowds now going for the attack on Zolzo. In towards turn number 4, the Spaniard. Going to try and hold firm. Pretty much like Fernando Alonso did in this corner in 2023. Gets the job done. But Cameron Dowds says, you know what? I'm coming through, Sonny Jim, to the outside line in towards turn number 6. Trying to look to that outside line. We saw this with Backy earlier on. Is it going to be a Cameron Dowds masterclass around the outside now through turn number 7?
No.
Zolzo makes some contact. Little bit of contact there between them both. And Cameron Dowds shut the door there on Zolzo. That could be a penalty coming his way. Cameron Dowds threw it into aid, but at what cost?
Yeah, I think it was a bit touch and go, I think, for these two. But again, the stewards will decide those penalties if they were to get one, or maybe no further action. And they might not even report at all. It might be minor for them, as we can see. Your own is up to 11th, and he could be taking some points here.
He could be. I've got myself in a tangle. Give me a second. There we are. I've got myself 3. Jeroen on the back of Zolzo. Zolzo and Ryan are fighting side by side. Jeroen, I'm saying watch out for him, because look at the tyres. Set a hard compound of tyres on that car. They're beginning to come into play. He might be a flat pressure compared to the mediums. Mediums will reach their period of drop-off around about now, and then 75% come lap 34. So all of these guys fighting aggressively ahead of him. It's going to bring you into play for points. It's going to bring Nuth potentially into play for points along with Volokongan. So it could be interesting. Yossi's just about latching onto the back of that train. It's 1.5 seconds now, the gap. 1.3, the gap consistently coming down. Yossi, though, at what cost have those tyres gone through? Flopman leading the way. Matteo second. Ian Van Noonen in third. I'm going to say it now. Buckle up. You're going to be in for one wild and wacky ride with 4 laps to go.
Yes, 4 laps to go until the end of this race. Get your predictions in, because I'm going to predict that the top 4 you're seeing is not going to be in that order. That is going to be my prediction, my bold prediction going into the end of this race. But those guys will probably kill me at the end of the stream. But Cameron Dowds and Kazizzle. Oh, wow.
Oh, my word.
Well, pretend you didn't see that, guys. That was a bit of decent that you saw. 3 wide in towards turn number 4. Here comes Zorzo. We also got the other Red Bull fighting with Keke as well in the background in towards turn number 6. Keke just about holds his line, but we got Safana trying to get in from the right-hand side. He doesn't. He tucks in behind. And Zorzo and Euro going in the middle. Oh, this is insane.
How on earth they're getting away with it, I do not know. If I was these guys right now out on track, I'd be in the wall. I'd be out of this race miles ago. Flopman leading the way, Matteo second, Ian Van Noonen third. If you're at the front of the pack right now, I think count your lucky stars. Everything is going on in the mid-pack. Here comes Yossi, getting the move done on Nuth. Maybe getting the move done on Backy sooner rather than later as well. He's got a good amount of battery to use up. He's now making his way through the field. He's got 3 laps to go to try and get some points. He's got Yossi now. He's got Backy even to the outside line down in towards turn number 3. He's now got Mercedes and an AlphaTauri, Volakongen and Gustav in his midst as well. They're still fighting side by side just ahead of this as well. Jeroen and Zolzo are fighting side by side, running down the hill towards turn 4. Yossi is a man on an absolute mission. Look at these tyres. They're absolutely carving their way through the field. He's into 12th position. Dare I say it? Is it on? I don't know.
Flopman and Matteo in the background are fighting for the race lead. And Flopman almost made a mistake. There was a bit of contact there. That will allow chance for Ian and Renz to go for this race victory. You never know as well, with 2 laps to go after this lap, as they make their way towards turn number 9. Matteo pulls a little bit of a gap now. Yossi makes another move. Yossi is catching. He is on this train. He is a man on a mission. He's going to get past another driver now in the space of a couple of corners. Here, yeah, he's on for points, but don't forget he's got that penalty. But he's trying to get rid of that deficit as much as he possibly can. He's now going to get past Jeroen. He is on fire right now. He's got past even 2 cars. He could even get past Cazidlo as well. Not many people are challenging him because everyone's on used tyres. Renz getting past Keke, Stefano and Cameron Dowd are fighting. This is getting intense. I just do not want to pause this because it's just getting very tight. As Cameron Dowd and Stefano are fighting. And we've got, I think, one of the Williams losing it.
Yeah,
Zolzo.
that's Zolzo. I think Ryan and Zolzo have made contact coming to the right-hand return number 4. Oh my word, you can go and have a rest, by the way, Jess, if you want for the final lap of the race.
Yes, please, because my voice is dying.
Matteo leading the way, Flopman in second, Ian Van Inden in third. It's going to come from one of these 4, maybe one of these 5, with Keke involved in this as well. Flopman has looked consistently quicker, but now on the final lap of the race, where the tyres are going, Yossi about to make a move as well on the back of Kazizel, down the straight and towards turn 1. He's going to hold on for now on the back of them, but Matteo leads the way. Flopman there in second. Flopman now has got to try and close in on the back of Matteo. Does not want to use up as much battery. He'll have the run down and towards turn number 4, and that will be it for that move for Flopman for the race win. And he nearly was on a little bit of a hitbox there on Matteo just losing it. Matteo, I think, just lost the car through turn number 3. Flopman now on the back of him down the hill and towards turn number 4. Yossi and Kazizel side by side as well in the background. Here's Flopman to the inside line. There's not a gap there. Sauber to the inside line on the back of the McLaren. It lets Ian Van Unen into play. Ian Van Unen could be the one that now wins this. Flopman and Matteo having an aggressive fight. Now through the left-hander turn number 6. Tyres shredding in the midst of the Haas. Now coming through the left-hander of turn number 7 and 8. It's Matteo that leads the way. Flopman tried as he must. Now up the hill and towards the rim curve. He'll have one more opportunity around the outside and towards turn number 9. This is going to get very aggressive if they're not careful. Matteo hangs on to the inside line. Ian Van Unen looking to the inside line. Now through the final corner at the Red Bull Mobile curve. Matteo was held on. I do not know how. Matteo to the line. Wins from Flopman there in second. Ian Van Unen there in third. There's a Mercedes in the wall in the background. I think that's Kazizel who has hit the wall in the background coming across the line. But Matteo wins. Flopman in second. Ian Van Unen in third. The championship leader had everything behind him on the final lap, and he has still held on. Flopman, I do not know how he was going for that gap to the inside of turn number 4. A ridiculous move if it was going to be pulled off. In the end, it didn't. Matteo outguns the Frenchman.
Wow.
Oh my word.
Wow. That was insane. That was absolutely insane from Matteo and Flopman. They were fighting like their life depends on it, really, as well. So good job to all of them. What an end to that race. That's going to go down in history as one of the greatest battles that I watched as well for a while. But Matteo wins, and he becomes the first repeat winner of the season. Because don't forget, he won in Australia, but he didn't win on track. But he wins technically on track for the first time, but he gets the second win of the season, which I have to say is good. He will extend his championship lead. And here is your order at the moment. So close in terms of race pace. Matteo wins from Flopman, Ian Van Erven, Renz, Keke, Cameron Dowds. What could have been without his disconnection? You rode from 19th, James, to 7th. That is a good result from him. Volakongen in 8th, Noof in 9th, Gustav in 10th. Those are your point scores. And then we got Yossi, Baki, Stefano, Justin, Ryan, Kazizel. The top 16 separate by 9 seconds, by the way. We've got Zorzo and Tim, your final finishes, and 2 retirements, Sipola and Erpek. I'm going to need a lie down after this, James. What about you?
I'm definitely in need of a lie down, that is for sure. Matteo takes the race win, Flopman in second. You've got to feel sorry for two people, I think, in that race. Cameron Dowds, with that disconnect, ending up in sixth and 1.1 seconds off the win. Very close indeed from his perspective. And Yossi, if he didn't pick up that 3-second penalty, 1.3 seconds off the race win, heading on what could have been an extra time lap. We could have had lap 37 out of 37, potentially, if Yossi wouldn't have won that race. My word, that was an unbelievable race. I can see why Conor McDonough, the head of honcho, Big C himself, puts Austria in every season. I want a petition. Can we just have Austria every single race throughout season 37? Because it'll be absolutely mad.
I think people will get a bit annoyed about that if that happened. But we would like his commentators. We would love it as commentators. I mean, it never disappoints. Every single race I've commentated on at PSGL always delivers in some way, shape or form. And tonight definitely did. Hopefully we get to hear some drivers in the interview room potentially to hear their thoughts on the race. Hopefully we can get to hear from Matteo in the waiting room very, very soon. But plenty of drivers who deserves our driver of the days. But who would you say is your driver of the day today?
I would have said Yossi if he won the race, to be honest. But no, I've got to go with Jeroen. I think 19th on the grid, up to 7th. I think only one man did that in Austria in the past, or near enough did that. Tom Roberts, season 33, back of the grid, P20, all the way up to P1, won that race. Jeroen could have been in the same boat there. He did a fantastic race. He got, 7th, I think, in the end. So I think Jeroen, for me, driver of the day. But what a battle that was from Matteo and Flopman. I honestly thought Flopman was going around the outside there to get that job done. On the back of Matteo, he looked to the inside line. Sauber-shaped gap suddenly somehow appeared. Don't know how it appeared. Don't know even if it did appear, if he just forced the move. But what we can say is Matteo is in the waiting room.
There we go. That was good timing, isn't it? But the interview screen is on. You can move him whenever you want, James.
Right, let's see if we get him in. See if we can speak to him. Hopefully he'll be able to hear us. Matteo, you are here. Hopefully you can hear us.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can indeed. Oh my word, what a hellish final lap of the race. That was insane. Talk us through it from your perspective. Congratulations on that race win. Championship leader going into tonight. Had everything against you going on to the final lap. And somehow you saw Flopman off.
Yeah, starting from qualifying, after Australia finally a good quali again, I actually did my personal best. Sadly, it wasn't enough for pole position, but, you know, in Austria, it doesn't really matter if you start on P1 or P2. Just try to manage the race like I did in Australia in the first round. And that's what I needed to come back to the podium and with a win as well. Yeah, just a good managed race. Last laps were a bit confusional because Flopman tried to let me by already lap 34, I think. And yeah, I didn't really want to go, but once I saw he really wanted to let me pass, I just said, let's go, let's see what we can do. And I pulled off one of the best defensive masterclasses I've ever done to fend him off.
It certainly seemed that way in commentary, put it that way. It was absolutely brilliant. And honestly, I was commentating that final lap of the race, and I don't know how, but how was the Sauber-shaped gap up that inside line? I do not know. It was certainly far too aggressive from Flopman. He made it work nearly. And then in the end, you had the traction coming out of turn number 4. Brilliant battle in the end. You came out on top. That must do you a lot of good in terms of your confidence moving forward.
Yeah, the key in defending was having enough ERS until the end of the last DRS zone. And yeah, obviously it's a great confidence boost because after the first round, you know, I didn't have the best qualifyings and races, not the cleanest ones, and surely not the ones I expect from myself. So it was much needed. And yeah, I can only say that I hope to do more races like this and without, you know, 2 races like the ones of Spa and Monaco in between. Just consistency all the way throughout the championship, and that will be the key to win it all.
Yeah, that's what I've said every single season. I think I've been here with Jess in the commentary box. I've always said consistency is key. in terms of winning a championship. We saw how season 34 and 35 went. You've got to remain consistent throughout the season, and you will be rewarded as a result. And you are certainly going your way, my friend, to being, I dare say it, PSF1 champion. Yeah, I know it's round 4, but it's got all the hallmarks so far of a fantastic season ahead. Going into the rest of the season, obviously we've got, I think, Canada up next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
To be honest, as I said earlier in the season, tracks aren't really my best ones, so I gotta work with that. But I already did some good races, and that's what I will try to replicate in the further rounds, even if, as I said, tracks aren't the best for me. There are some decent ones like Austria, which we did tonight, and some other ones which I don't remember, but yeah, I can surely fight for wins again in the season.
Yeah, I think it's really honestly fantastic to watch how you've evolved as a driver as well, because I remember commentating on you in the other league, let's just say, and getting the podiums right at the start of the game, getting podiums very consistently. And then all of a sudden, you've just switched it on. After the turn of the new year, you've just switched it on completely. It's really refreshing to see. As I say, you're one of the best up-and-coming talents PlayStation has got. I really hope we can hold on to you as well. And, Jess, I know I stole your question, but have you got any questions from?
No, because you kind of stole my question. But I would like to echo James's thoughts. Massive improvement I've seen from you over the past couple of months, actually, especially. And it's great to see you on the top step once again. First repeat winner. Would you be able to get another victory this season, do you think?
Yeah, my aim obviously is to win the championship, and to win the championship, I gotta win races again. So that's just what I gotta do. That's the bare minimum.
That is a bare minimum for Matteo. That's enough for me, James, question-wise.
That's enough for me as well, and I think that certainly fills me with a lot of confidence, because I think I'm going to be switching my bias to one more driver here in PSF.
No, we're being impartial, Mr. James Head. I could buy you at a drop of a hat.
Terrible. No, but Matteo, we will let you go and enjoy evening.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, James. Have a nice evening.
You too, Matteo. You too. And I don't think, James, we've got anyone else waiting in the interview room, have we?
No, we haven't. I think we've only got Matteo for tonight.
Yeah, I gathered that. I knew Matteo wanted to speak to us. He was just... He always likes speaking with us. It's great. But next week, we've done Austria, and it is now the Canadian Grand Prix. March the 18th is where the driver's going to be racing at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I like racing at it, but again, the margins are just so fine. What can you expect from the next couple of races, do you think?
I honestly think Canada will probably see more of an aggressive race next week. I think Austria, that was aggressive. Canada is normally on the same level, I think, in terms of the racing. So if the drivers behave themselves like what they did tonight, it should be really, really good. And I've just got to say, from Matteo's perspective, I still regard him as one of the best up-and-coming talents on PlayStation. There are many more coming through the system that I think we need to hold on to. PlayStation has become so much substantialized with everyone moving over to PC. We've seen the likes of Markedos move over there.
We get to see new talent
move over there. Exactly. We get to see the new talent coming through. But whether or not that new talent want to remain on PlayStation or really push themselves to PC, that is completely up to the driver at the end of the day. I would love to see more drivers held on to on PlayStation, because Matteo, Cameron Dowds, pretty much half the field you could name as being up-and-coming talent in PSF1, and that is what makes my job and your job, Jess, very exciting.
Yep, it is. So make sure you join us next week for the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's sure going to be very exciting. But before we wrap up, final plug of our sponsor, Sim Racing Centre. You can get setups and coaching sessions from two-time esports champion Brendan Lee, plus other coaches from Sim Racing Centre, of course. You can also get strategies too. And if you use the code 10%, if you use the code PSGL for 10% off, you can get and pre-order F124 setup. You can get some F123 setups if you want to, but pre-order the setup just so you're ready for the F124 game. And finally, check out our title sponsor, GT Omega. 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. or use the link in the description. Some amazing products there, so make sure you check them out. We're both going to have a bit of a lie down after that and try to recover because that was a really entertaining race. Make sure you check out all the streams coming up this week. We've got E-Series on Friday. That's back after its break week. We've got PC streamed around Canada, so make sure you check that out as well. And of course, we've got PCF1 with George Morgan and Dan Build on Wednesday. What's not to miss at PSGL? I've been Jess Ball. He's been James Head. We will see you same time next week for the Canadian Grand Prix. Take care. Bye-bye.
He's got the inside off here, he's through on the left hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the ghost is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.